to Grounded, the podcast by Inspiring Time. I am Amber, the founder of Inspiring Time, and with me today is a treat. But I'm going to take care of some housekeeping rules real quick before we get started. Guys, if you have not subscribed to the podcast channel, wherever you find that, or the YouTube channel, if you love to listen there, do me a favor, hit subscribe, thumbs it up, give me a review. That helps me bring you content that is exciting and compelling to you. And above everything else, I want you to feel like you are living your most beautiful, passionate, purpose-filled life here on Inspiring Time. And we strive to bring you inspiration weekly, monthly, all the times with fun content and new and exciting people, because that's what this world's made of, right? People. Now, here we go. This is what you've been waiting for. I've been hyping it up a little bit because Louise Valentine is here with me today. She is a wellness expert, competitive athlete, and a fierce military spouse. And she is going to share with us her journey from kind of the beginning of this military journey. And we are going to focus a little bit more on the military side of things today and share with you, but we're also going to deep dive into how she got started in her book and what that's actually leading to right now for her. So Louise, I'm going to let you kind of break it down for us so we feel more in tune with you. So thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. Yeah, I feel like there's lots to share. You and I have had some great conversations, so I'm excited to see where the conversation takes us today.
Yes. Oh, y'all, we talked for almost an hour and we didn't even know each other. That's the beautiful part of connecting. So I love that. And I'm so glad we could share that.
Yeah, definitely. Lots, even in different, service lines where, your Air Force, Army, we still have plenty of parallel paths.
Parallel paths, and the hustle's still the same.
Oh yeah.
We're still doing the move, which we're going to get to. Everybody wants to know how you handle those brutal moves all the time, how you connect back in, and what you're doing, your passion, your purpose, your mission in life is to help others find a healthier life. And I just can't wait to hear how you go about that in your book. So
yeah, you definitely hit it on the head. I feel that my purpose in life is to help others live a vibrant, healthy life. So that has looked very different depending on where we've been stationed and different stages of my life. But I go back to that root core purpose. And, no matter how different it looks, if we're stationed at different places, if there's different types of job opportunities, maybe some I'm not necessarily that happy about, if I stay grounded in that purpose, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be all right. So that's my go-to phrase for my career.
And that right there in the essence is the hardest thing, I think, for most spouses in the military, man or woman, together. Because first and foremost, you are a support for the person in the military, right? You have to be the support. You have to hold the family together. But there's also usually something else that you're wanting out of life, right? It's not just the hustle and bustle. You want to know at the end of all this, you have contributed, which you have, but maybe you're wanting a little bit more, which, so let's start kind of here at the beginning. How long ago, when did you join the military? When did you get married into the military?
So yeah, I met my husband in college and we were good friends, but we didn't actually date in college. So I started my career, I actually was working as a sports medical massage therapist for the NFL. And I had my own business and was contracting with healthcare systems. So was really, I had my dream career at a very young age. And I met up with my husband, Zach, during his first R&R from a tour in Iraq. And we met up as friends, and we had both, grown a lot and were different people, but still, you know, good friends as well. So it was just the right timing in life. And we reconnected and started dating, remained committed to each other throughout the remainder of his tour in Iraq. And then when he returned, I had a decision to make. So here I was, a girlfriend, but he had to deploy again in a year. So I was either going to pack up my car and go from Ohio, where I was living and my business was, and try this relationship out, you know, in upstate New York, because he was ultimately going to deploy again. So I packed up my car and drove and lived on the border of Canada in upstate New York with Zach, my husband. And we, you know, obviously it was wonderful and I enjoyed it. We ended up getting engaged and married, and he deployed. So I went home to Ohio, back to that career, and juggled that back and forth for quite a while. And eventually, when he returned from his tour in Afghanistan, it was time to become a real military spouse in a way. You know, like, of course, surviving a deployment is you know, enough to begin with.
It's a one-on-one at that point, right? You were with him, you were newly married, so you hadn't really full on into that Army network of people, because you'd gone back to work on your career, which is fantastic. I mean, you were able to kind of continue with that while he was gone. Which, would there be a tidbit that you might throw in while they're deployed? Women, we'll say women because I think that's fair. Is there something that you can like focus on, or some mindset tricks that you might throw out there that are important while they're gone?
Yeah, I mean, I think finding something that you're passionate about and that you can pour your energy into is so important. So that's looked really different. You know, when my husband's been away, if it's sometimes he's away with training, sometimes he's away at war. But, you know, one time at that point, I actually was finishing my undergrad because I had started my business prior to completing my undergrad. So when he was away for that second tour, I focused on my business. I was a workaholic and I was passionate about finishing my degree. And so that was like where that energy went. And, you know, there were some really dark times when we lost friends in combat, and having that ability to just feel like I was impacting the world and doing something purposeful was so important. But I think for people, it doesn't have to fit in a box. You don't have to work. You don't have to complete a degree. Find something you love.
Absolutely. So. And that you can, I remember our first deployment, and I think Louise and I really hit it off because the start to our military life here looked very similar. I was already in the midst of floral design and high-end wedding planning in Charleston, South Carolina. And my husband and I were friends in college as well. And he said, if we're going to make this work, you've got to come to my first base. Like, we only have this much time and I deploy. So we did very much the same thing. However, being so far away in Texas, I couldn't head back to work on that career. So that looked different for me, but I still found a way to connect in. I made sure that I was making connections. I was not living my purpose-driven life at that moment. It didn't, and that's what we're saying. You don't fit inside of a box. This is, everybody's journey looks different. So I stayed in tune with the gym. I made sure that I was taking care of myself, taking care of my mind and my mental status, because that is huge. And then I just worked, you know, I just powered through. And sometimes just working on those basic necessities seem to be what pulls you through some of those moments.
Yeah, and honestly, I recognized that I wasn't okay when I drove from Ohio to New York when I knew that it was that final time and I was leaving this career with the NFL behind. I had actually just been hired by Major League Baseball too. So it was like my whole career was just blown up. with success. And I realized I was leaving it all behind, going to New York where my massage license didn't transfer. So here I was innovating in a field as a medical professional, and I couldn't even practice my own art in upstate New York. So I actually worked with an MFLEC, a military life counselor. And whereas a lot of the wives who had been, combat deployment after combat deployment spoke about their struggle with the deployment, I actually went through a process of grieving the loss of my career.
Right.
Helped me work through that. So I'm so glad that I got connected to someone who could support, because that mental state is so important. You have to take on the deployment and be strong, and when they come home and all the ups and downs of that journey. So having
You're
support.
very fragile and thin line that you walk during that time.
Mhm.
And I can only imagine, though I was not grieving. Long hours on the floral design, just like I know you had super long hours too. So again, it's where you are in that career and what that looks like, and knowing spot on that you were gonna, that it was affecting you the way it was, and you knew that in order to mentally survive the deployment, and find that next step, what was the next step in the journey? That's incredible that you found. Okay, tell me the name again. I'm not sure I'm familiar with.
So it was a resource that was actually through the command,
Okay.
Military and Family Life Counselors. It's MFLEC. And I'm not sure that that's still the term that's used today. I think it is. But they're wonderful resources. They don't actually take any notes. They don't report back to the command. So it's all confidential. And, sometimes there's stigma attached with going to see and talking to someone. So there may be awareness of, who's going to talk. But I think the more we just openly say that we're talking and it's helping, and I stand before you today, a better, stronger, more resilient military spouse is a byproduct. I mean, I think it's powerful. So mental health, get help when you need it.
And I think that's a very valid point. I know a lot of spouses would not go talk to, we're Airman Family Readiness on this side. I think it would be very similar terminology and what they offer. But so many won't use that because they know perhaps, or they feel like it's going to come back and somehow affect their spouse because you weren't your best. You let a piece fall out. And friends, let me tell you, when that piece falls out, it's going to be a whole heck of a lot harder to climb back out of that. So find support, find that help. It won't affect you in the end. What it will affect is your mental stability.
Yeah.
So you call yourself a fierce, career-driven military spouse. Tell me what that means. I think we hit the iceberg a little bit right there.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh. So recognizing in the beginning, I've like this sense of purpose and impact, and having a career has always been so important to me, and I love learning. So all of these things put passion in and drive into wanting to work. And so here in upstate New York, my first experience was just resume after resume and not getting a single call back. And so each duty station that we've relocated to, I've truly had to re-engineer myself. I've continued to acquire credentials and degrees, and I've just never stopped this pursuit of bettering myself as a professional, even if I wasn't able to really work in a job that I enjoyed or felt was, appropriate for my credentialing kind of thing. But I did eventually get a little frustrated with reinventing and re-engineering my career. So I got this bright idea that I would go to med school. And I spent 2 years preparing my med school application, retaking all of these prerequisites that had expired. And I applied and got in to schools on the East Coast. And my husband, almost the same week, got orders for the West Coast. We never saw California as an option of a place to live. So here I was thinking, oh, I'm going to be, a physician assistant. I am going to have a job that will always transfer. I'll be in that military healthcare system. And here we relocated to California. And I was like, oh, the application process was so long. And it was then that I realized I wasn't going to be able to attend a physical school for my master's. So I did end up getting a master's in public health online, which is the best decision of my life. Has taken me places I never could have imagined. But I say that I'm a fierce military spouse because I'm going to go out kicking and screaming in this lifestyle. All the things that I tried to make work that didn't.
There are two words right there that really come to mind, and it's resilience and being able to pivot. And I think those two words right there, along with grounded, which I know we use a lot right now, like it's definitely a term of the times, but those all combined, if you can be resilient and see that, you know what, I did apply. I got in, I kicked butt, but now we have to, now we have to move. Okay. How can I make it work? And that's exactly what you did. You said, okay, that's not going to work. What are we going to do now? And you pivoted, and you didn't let that kill any psyche going on or anything like that. You just pivoted, because that's what we do. That's what you have to do. It's been so important to do that. And then you remained grounded. You knew the vision. You had the vision. So you talk also about wanting to live a very vibrant and happy life. And I feel like as military spouses, it almost feels like you've been kicked every time you turn around, which makes resilience annoying after a while, which makes pivoting seem like normal life. How do you keep that vibrant, happy life? What do you do?
Yeah, so I always start with giving myself a moment to feel all the feels. And that, I just describe it as, just recognizing it's hard, admitting what you're feeling. Like you can be sad, you can be angry, and just get it out. Because if we don't get it out and we don't take that moment just to feel all the feels, we'll be so much stronger if we just take a second to process that. And my recommendation though is to put a timer on it. So for myself, it looks really different depending on the challenge I'm facing or the obstacle in our military lifestyle. But sometimes maybe I just have an off morning and I admit that, I'm just not feeling motivated today. And I'm going to stay in this space for just today, and tomorrow's a new day. But other times, like I've gotten a health diagnosis, I've needed a solid month to just be angry, admit I don't know where to start, feel frustrated. And, maybe I'll say the end of the month, I'm really going to, take one small step in the right direction. And then I'll define that small step, just one, just some place to start.
And I love what you said right there. It's name it, be okay with it. Maybe you're not super okay with it, but you've at least given it a name. But don't sit there. You've got, give it the amount of time that you need to find the headspace around it, and then execute. Just one, and we're not talking go move mountains, but just that one step makes you feel so much better, because you know that you can do it. It's almost like it's a mind game, almost like you just have to get over that first hurdle, and then you can start to see what's going to be on the other side.
Definitely. And it just keeping it very simple, like a simple, small step. That's my big thing in my blog, in my book, keeping it simple and realistic and finding what works best for you and not judging that if it looks different. Because especially with military spouses, like our life just does not fit in a box. So, oh goodness.
No, and a lot of times I don't give it the due credit. A lot of people, I tell myself that a lot of people move. This is, a lot of people do this, but truth be told, a lot of people don't do this. their spouse is not being in combat zone areas. They're not in constant fear of, what if the doorbell rings? There's just a lot of other emotions that come along with the resilience and the pivoting, which is what life is about, but very important to remember. So you mentioned the blog and the book, and I cannot wait to talk about the book. So tell me the name of the book and tell me how this all came about.
So the book is called The Art of Breaking Through, and it's 5 simple steps to take on any challenge and tackle self-doubt. And how I came about with writing a book was I had a research fellowship after I earned my master's. And in order to keep that job, I had an hour commute. We were fortunate enough to move an hour away from the duty station where the research fellowship was. So I would drive back and forth 2 hours plus every day. And I started to write content dictate it into my phone. So I came up with my Team Valentine project blog, where I was sharing these realistic and simple ways to live a vibrant, healthy life. And in that exercise of just becoming a better writer, part of my position with the research fellowship was helping to design health communication initiatives for generals in the Army, and actually all the way down from the level of the military institution all the way up through senior command of the Army and military. So it was a really great learning opportunity. And as a result, I started to write a book with 5 simple steps to take on any challenge. And the reason why I did that was because I was diagnosed with osteoporosis at the age of 33. So I often write content where I'm living life out loud. I truly need to save myself or work through something. So I do it either in a social media post, a blog post, and in this case, I was starting to write a book.
And so on top of all okay, so how long ago did you start the book?
So I actually wrote the book years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago now, 2 probably. But what happened was the commute was sustainable only for so long. So after I published as a research fellow a few times, I looked for a position close to home, because 2 hours plus a day in a car when I have 2 small children just wasn't fair to my family, and was really taking a health toll on me, who I had a health challenge. So recognizing stress is the number one, thing I needed to address. I started a new job. So I didn't finish the editing of the book. And it wasn't until June or August, I believe, of this past year, 2020, where here we are in the heart of the pandemic. My family's facing a bunch of challenges. My sisters and my dad got diagnosed with cancer. And I got another health diagnosis, my own precancerous condition of my stomach. So I was like, whoa, I need to go back to editing my book. I need to go through this process over and over again. And it was, again, this exercise of saving myself, but also realizing that with the pandemic, with stress being so high, knowing how simple and realistic this concept was and how powerful it was when I was in the heart of the worst times of my life, and it was still effective. I'm like, I have to start testing this with other people, sharing this 5-step process. So finally did it, pushed it through the publishing gates.
So on top of everything, the moving, the children, health diagnosis, family health concerns, you decided to serve others with what you're very passionate about, health, the health industry. Though I know that's kind of through your career has ebbed and flowed into different, areas of the health industry. And then you decided to hit go. You said it's now or literally never, and I can actually help people along the way. How did you go about publishing this book?
So when I started editing, I was home seeing my dad. His cancer diagnosis had returned after his first initial surgery. And I told him that I was writing a book. And he turned to me and he looked me in the eye and said, "Why not? Why not you?" And I was like, oh my God. Like, my dad has like kind of, he's instilled a lot of great values in me, but sometimes he questions what I'm doing, like changing a major, or, "Oh, right, you will never make money as a massage therapist." It's like, "I'm working for the NFL, Dad." Like it's been kind of this ebb and flow throughout life. And when he said that, I was like, oh my gosh, like this thing is getting published as fast as possible. And I want him to be able to hold a copy of the book in his hands. And with cancer, you just never know. And I'm like, he needs to see the impact that he has had on my life and this ripple effect that's going to live on through our family and through me and my sisters, because we are here as these amazing individuals for the world as a byproduct of the way we were raised. And so it was just this important mission for him just to hold the book that he was looking forward to.
Well,
So.
and I think that now that we're raising our own children, I think that hits home even more so to know that the words that we say, how we instill different values and characteristics into our children will live on. So, and I think with the pandemic, that even hit, I mean, yes, we had to do some tuning out to the kids because
Oh gosh, yeah.
is life still, right? We're not super humans all the time, just some of the time. And yes, they plugged into devices, and yes, we might have cut some corners here and there, but through it all, you wanted them to see that you were resilient. You could pivot. You could make this happen. And then such a sweet testament to your parents and your dad to say, okay, guess what? You did great. And I think our parents kind of I don't know. I know in our family, we've definitely moved into this world of voicing your opinions and, very life coaching and things like that. And I don't remember doing that growing up. I remember a good, like, high five, you did awesome. But you know what? They did something right because here I am doing that.
Yeah.
And they're super proud. So just know that your words impact and your actions impact, and keep supporting where you can. Now, you have this book and you published how long ago did it actually go into print?
Yes. So I published in October, and I was able to become a bestseller for self-help, stress management, military families. So it was,
That's
thank you. Yeah, it was really a, there's a lot of coordinated effort that goes into testing the concept of the book, as well as launching and having support. But, it's been a really rewarding journey to hear how different people use the book. And I wrote it so it's like 5 simple steps, very customizable to any life challenge. And I know that's like the one thing they say, like, when you write a book, don't make it so broad that you don't have a target market. Well, here's the thing. I just was like, no, I want this to be customizable to the end user. It can be any sort of challenge. Like, I'm a competitive athlete. I use the process for that. I am a military spouse with career challenges. I use it for that. I've lost friends. I use it for that. And it's very broad. Even for my fear of public speaking, I've used the process. So there's all sorts of tips and tricks along the way to make it customizable to meet you exactly where you're at. And I think that's one of the biggest things in life, just recognizing as life changes life, it's going to be perfectly imperfect. So depending on the stage of life, things look very different. And you're going to have to re-engineer and reinvent, regardless of whether or not you're a military family.
exactly. This is not just being resilient in time of trial and tribulation, but good practices for everyone. So what's next? You have it published, you're a bestseller, things are looking really strange, I bet, at this point, and you're trying to figure it out, and you're doing fantastic.
Yeah.
But how do you morph all that? What's next?
So I've really been enjoying, speaking opportunities. I've spoken to, groups of students returning to school about using the 5-step process, and really continuing to grow and develop as a professional. I had a wonderful partnership with the book, which I'm so excited to announce. I guess I should backtrack a little bit in my story, that when I was becoming this bestseller, my dad was actually admitted to the ICU with COVID. And it was a month-long battle with a fight for his life, in which we truly thought we were going to lose him. And he went from being this, active bowler, avid farmer, to using a walker, to practicing standing without passing out. And it's been a very long road to recovery. So working through this and having my process to speak about has been extremely healing for myself. It, teaches me how to find joy in the most darkest and challenging of times. But as a result of that, with my father's health struggles, all of the profits of my book go towards his healing journey and a family relief fund, because it's very needed right now. But, with that, I have this amazing partnership with the book with a company called My Care Crate, or Care Crate Co. And then there's also My Hero Crate, which is specific to military families. So the book can actually be a part of a care package if you have a loved one who is, facing a challenging time, or you have a service member overseas, or, a military spouse who you'd love to send a care package to. With My Hero Crate, it can be gifted there. And with Care Crate Co., that is, any sort of gift package. So it's personal care, snack items. And so it's an exciting partnership that's going to allow the sales of my book to provide an abundance of love and support to my family. So very excited.
That is incredible. Just because you decided to record your thoughts and take that a step farther.
I think it was more about just getting it to my father's hands, and Amazon's a really beautiful way to get a book out the door quickly. So
I am just amazed at what you faced and how well and how gracefully you have handled your current life situation. And it's not fair, it's not easy, but you didn't stop finding the beauty in what you had to give. And now so many more lives are going to be impacted and be given useful tips to push them forward as well.
yeah. And, the book is, a side passion project of mine, believe it or not. I am employed full-time in leadership of a healthcare technology company called Vita Health. It's VHEDA. And I actually just a few weeks ago pitched an idea to the CEO and president of our company, something that will directly impact military families and anyone who is in the heart of this challenging time, where we love our parents so very much, yet we're at a distance and their health is starting to suffer and they need support. And here we are, raising our own kids and we're away. Or maybe we don't have the time or expertise to care for them ourselves. So hopefully here in mid-April, we should go live with a solution nationwide. So it's by far the most incredible opportunity of my life. And the impact it has potential to just be life-changing for so many people in need.
Prior to having kids and all of that, you're leaving the NFL. You're so torn between what's happening. Did you picture yourself anywhere close to where you are at this moment?
Not at all. No, no. And it's, I mean, I guess I always knew that I loved learning. I always wanted to have an advanced degree, but I always thought I'd serve in really traditional patient care. And I have along the way. Like, I'm an exercise physiologist, I'm a strength coach. Like, I've worked one-on-one with a lot of people in a medical setting, but I also never thought that I'd be in an entrepreneurial type position, nor a leader, especially as a female. So it's been incredible mentorship along the way. And also too, I think as a military spouse, it's okay to say that you don't have to take a job just to take a job. If it's not working out, feel comfortable walking away. I'm from Cleveland, so I often say, it's about time I LeBron James this. Like, I take my talents elsewhere because it's not serving me nor giving me the ability to impact in the way that I want to. So, yeah.
I look at my husband and I often almost have like the hero mentality when I look at him, because I know how many lives he impacts daily. And that is not fair to me, and I think a lot of us do that. We go, okay, we're the support. And you kind of start doing this like turtle thing, like you're shrinking down going, okay, I'm just the support. Y'all stand up tall and look to the women around you who are just finding their grace and their beauty and their purpose and really serving, because you have that too. Everybody has that, but it does take focus and determination, resilience, and pivoting to figure out what that looks like in our life.
And to recognize we have these stages, because yes, I am standing up as a female leader in this crazy, booming, awesome, innovative healthcare technology company. However, I still have been the military spouse who's peering, from behind the curtain in a home where I have a brand new baby and a 3-year-old. I know no one on the base. I don't have a job, and I feel lost. I've been there, and we all have these moments. And sometimes, like, my husband and I talk about ebb and flows of our career, and sometimes he deploys. Sometimes I say, it's my turn to deploy. Like, I need to focus on my career right now and I need your support. And sometimes that works out where he has the ability to. Other times, Army life, it's the needs of the service first and foremost, always.
Then you pivot and you nanny or the parents, or, you call in your support.
Yeah. But, and being a caretaker and raising incredible human beings for this world is so important. So if you need to focus on that, I've had my moments where I truly just need to focus on that and taking care of myself.
And
maybe it's
okay. Yeah. That's wonderful. Like you said, know the stage that you're in and focus full-heartedly on that. That's okay. You don't have to climb that one mountain today. It's part of the journey.
Yep. Absolutely.
I am so excited about mid-April, and like, I don't know what's coming, but that sounds fantastic. Both my mother-in-law and my dad have had major health concerns in the pandemic, and we couldn't go. We were on stop orders. Mm-hmm. So if I went, then I would have to quarantine. Nobody's here to take care of our children if my husband's going to work. So I'm very intrigued by what could be coming in the form of relief to help be at home when you can't be at your childhood home.
Yeah. And yeah, when we can't be by those loved ones' side and they need support and, timely connection to medical care, you want to have insight into how they're doing if they need medical attention. It's so important. And we have these incredible care packages that will be delivering healthcare technology into your loved one's home. So it'll be the most important care package that you ever send. And we've designed it in a way, years of technology have been applied in the corporate setting. So we actually used this solution with my father, and the impact it had on my life, and the fact that my company just sent this care package at no cost and provides me and my sisters peace of mind, knowing that my dad, we have early insight into if he needs medical attention. We are empowering him with understanding when he needs to slow down, if his body is under too much stress. And it's all very simple and user-friendly. So like my parents opened their care package and started using the technology, and they laughed at how easy it was.
Oh,
so it's like, oh, thank God. Like
all had those conversations with our parents about opening a PDF or saving on a desktop and moving to a different, so just to know that there is ease with technology, that is key.
Well, there's two key pieces to this solution too. So not only are we providing support and insight in that early identification of care needs, but there's a human support team standing by your loved one's side. So we'll have on-demand technology support to walk them through using anything that they don't understand. And in addition, if they use a medical device and have an out-of-range reading or need medical attention, we'll have compassionate and friendly health navigators to call and check in and respond. So I'm revealing a lot of the solution here, but it's just like life-changing, especially for us military we cannot control the fact that we live at a distance and loved ones need help. So
I'm dying to hear the whole care package and what that entails, because that is going to be, like you said, so impactful for the way, if you can lower the military family stress, you're going to see so much more productivity. And that has been actually very researched. Lower the stress, get a lot better, input and output and all the things. So
yeah, I was actually on the other side of that, by the way, in my research fellowship, studying the health of the Army family and the health of the force, both, chronic disease impact, I've seen that data firsthand and wrote to develop, communicating what's happening so that senior leaders can have this realistic and actionable data to know where do we really need to target to get the biggest bang for our buck. Like if we're going to have a program, if we're going to have an intervention, where do we start? So just knowing how incredible and vast this problem is, I'm like waking up every single day with roller skates on and like dancing. My husband's like, you woke up at 3 and put in a 15-hour day. And I'm like, I get in these zones and I'm just like, no, the mission is too big. And I know that resonates with you, hubby, because you're a service member who thrives on a mission.
And let's throw in here at the end, because we have kind of gone a full gamut of finding yourself, working on your purpose. Maybe it's a book. How do you serve with that? And you have shared so much, but let's bring it back to the move, because I feel like, I think we're both up for moves, right? And
of course.
Because it's the second year and we've been here too long. Yeah. So let's talk about some healthy tips that we could take on before PCS season hits.
Yes, I have 2 major focus with this. One is a foundation of wellness first and foremost. So depending on how much stress I'm feeling, I'm a competitive runner. So I might like traditionally be in a crazy training plan.
Bears, I don't run like fun, so you got that one.
Yeah, but like sometimes, I would, as a competitive runner, be in a very strict training plan. But now here at this stage in my life, especially, wow, there's a lot happening. I need energy for my kids. I need energy for myself. And so I might look at the day, and if I have so much stress, running 10 miles even though that's good stress, it's still too much stress on my body. So I might say, today's a yoga day, today's a strength training day. So that foundation of wellness first and foremost, but recognizing, depending on where you're at, it's okay that that just looks like a walk around the block and you're taking a deep breath. Or maybe you are trying to lose weight and you have a structured program that feels really good. But foundation for yourself, wellness first and foremost.
First, and what would you tell them not to skip? I feel like food goes hand in hand with this too. So I find myself when I'm stressed, I go straight for chocolate and 6 extra cups of coffee, which is not necessarily something you should do every day. Do you throw in some healthy, good, just basic things that you put in your body?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things where I feel very strongly in finding what works best for you. So like for things for myself, like I know my body doesn't agree with gluten. Staying higher protein is usually giving me good energy. So I'll stick with some of those core things that really I know result in me feeling good energy. And when I want to do things like get a pound of ice cream and eat it, I try to reassign the meaning. I think, what is that food? What am I looking for with eating that food? I'm looking for maybe an energy high. I'm looking for something to distract me, to get away from an emotion that's super uncomfortable. So rather than achieving that outcome through food, which is, by the way, going to make me feel like crap by eating a bunch of sugar, I'd look to, okay, so I want more energy. I can ask my husband if I can just take a walk around the block and get some sunshine. That puts pep in my step. Or if I'm, looking for energy, maybe it is that cup of coffee, but maybe I go get a really good one that's filled with joy, like from Starbucks, or I make my favorite one at home, finding that little burst of joy.
Make it almost an experience. Don't just eat to eat or drink to drink, but actually, I always find that putting a bit of an experience, like maybe it is driving to the Starbucks or local coffee place and getting something new and exciting. So I've made myself leave the situation. I'm also trying something new and kind of exciting. And then I do it intentionally, right? Do you find that being intentional helps sometimes?
Definitely. And just focusing on when I do eat healthy foods, what it's really doing. Like it's not actually just helping my body and me, but because I'm not stressed out about eating terrible food, because I have good energy, I'm a better mom. I'm a vibrant, happy, healthy mom. Mom has energy. Mom can kick a soccer ball with you at the end of the day, versus if I'm putting a bunch of junk in my body, I'm on the couch, I might have a stomach ache, I'm tired. So there's so much more with food, and what can you do as a result of those good foods?
And I think that right there, every move looks so very different. But if you take care of yourself and be intentional about what you're doing, that is the first step of combating all the stress that comes with a move.
Yeah, and things like ice cream. So I would say that you have to like redesign your relationship with that food too, right? Like it's not an all or nothing. It's not I can't have ice cream. It's I choose to eat ice cream in a celebration with my kids, and it's a joyful, amazing moment. But if I'm in the military housing, the lodge on post, and I'm waiting for a house and I'm eating a pint of ice cream because I'm sad, depressed, frustrated, don't know where to start with this new duty station because I've been there. Like moose tracks were my thing back in the day. Like we just moved, I need moose tracks. But no, so it's the reason, like, why are you eating it? And it's okay to have those splurges, absolutely. But just do it for the right reason, out of self-love.
Yes. Because you know what? Life is going to keep on going. It's going to keep churning. It's going to be hard and messy, but the right outlook is where you're going to find the strength to keep on pushing. Okay. So tell me one more time. I'm going to put in the link below where we find you. So book, blog, all the things. Start from
Absolutely.
Tell us where to find you.
So teamvalentineproject.com is the blog. So you'll see writing wellness content across the spectrum of wellness, from physical activity to healthy eating tips to a lot of focus on stress management lately, as you can imagine,
Yes.
with everything going on with my family. But so I do post regularly there, and at Team Valentine Project Instagram does have a lot of good content and little quick tips throughout the week many times. The book can be found on Amazon.com and Care Crate Co. Hopefully my Hero Crate as well soon. But the Military Caretaker Solution, the place to keep your eye on is Vita Health, VHEDA.
All these things. Oh my goodness. Thank you for being a beautiful light in this world when it seems unmanageable. We need more personalities and wonderful families supporting and loving just like you do. So thank you for taking the time to be on here, sharing with us. And I can't wait to see what you do next, because it's going to be pretty incredible. I know it will be.
And yourself as well. I cannot wait to see all about your book and things that you have coming up on the blog, and just this ability to connect with other women on a mission to live their best life, whatever that looks like for them, and motivate, inspire, and share their story. And thank you for letting me share mine today. It was such an honor.
You have definitely been a bright spot. So thank you. Continue doing amazing things, and we will talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you.